morning. This is the Exact Trades pre-market stock report for July 14th, 2011. First thing we're looking at here is the S&P 500. You see yesterday's price action here. We had a run up from the Fed announcement, kind of turned over middle of the day, and then had a big sell-off towards the end of the day and ended up closing lower on the day. Take a look here on the 15-minute chart. So after market, we had some more selling, dropping down into the lows. Since then, we've had another push up. We've kind of had this been going on now for about 3 days. You see this dip and buy back up, dip, buy back up, another dip. So we watching here on this 4th day, see if it can hold this support. I'm actually looking for it to break down below this support area. So watch for some weakness on the open. See if it can come down into this area and then watch it in this area around 131, 130.65. See if it can break below that. We'll be looking for both longs and shorts today just to be a little bit balanced. If we see this break below the support level, we'll probably shift gears and be a little bit more short biased. So let's go into the trades for today. NTRI, it's a gap up. Take a look here at the daily. You got resistance here at 22. You have the gap here, and then you have this area down here. So now we'll go back and look at our 15-minute chart. So we're breaking through this first area of resistance. This is going to be a long trade. Look for it to open. If it opens and takes off, grab a little bit and then see if you can get some more on a pullback. If it opens flat and starts to pull back, wait for it to bottom and start slow. This will be a long today, but also keep an eye on the market and see what it does. If the market's really weak, then you might want to pass on this, especially if this opens flat and starts to pull back. Next stock is COP. See, it's a pre-market gap up. We had some movement here. Take a look at the daily. Got this resistance level right here. Another one right here from the previous high. You can see this gap broke the first level resistance already and is right at the second level. So we're going to keep an eye on this. I'd actually prefer to short this. So look for this to be weak off of this 52-week high resistance. So we're going to open right up in here. So look for it to fail below the open today and look to short into that. This is just for a single day trade. I would short down into, see what it does at 80, take some off, then see if it can come down into that 78, 77 area. Next stock is KEX. Another gap up this morning, looking like it's going to open around 60. Take a look here. So we're going to be breaking to a 52-week high. This I'm going to look to be taking long. You have this consolidation right in this area. This is a breakaway gap over 60. Again, looks like the other one, that's a long. Wait to see what it does on the open. If it looks pretty strong, especially if the market's selling off and this is running up, go ahead and grab some and then try to add to your position on a pullback. See if it can make some higher lows and higher highs. It should trend up today, so this is going to be a good long, especially if it has relative strength or if we have some buying in the market too. Here we have MAR. Take a look here at the pre-market. Last night in the aftermarket trading, it dropped. Hasn't really had much of a bounce from that big drop. That's a bearish sign. And then if you take a look here at the daily chart, we've been on a pretty good up run here. It's looking to gap down and break below this 36 mark. So I would look to take this short, preferably below 36. Again, we're going to already open below that 35. So see if it kind of goes sideways for a little bit, or if it starts to sell off right on the open, go ahead and take that short. First target's going to be into this 35 area, and then possibly down into 34. You could have a little bit of support right here in this range, right around 34.66, 34.70. So you're going to come into 35, keep some open, try to get it down into 34. 34.70 area. Next stock is HIG. We got a small gap down. Gap down last night, started to bounce this morning. I'm looking for this to be a long, a potential long. We're coming right into the support area around 24. Come back and look at the open here. I would prefer to take this long closer to 24. Up here at 25, you might be chasing a little bit. See if you can get some on a pullback off the open, and then look for it to hold that 24 support. And this could be, a possible long for a couple days. We're going to come down into support. You should get a pretty good bounce off of this 24 area. This is one that can go either way off of this 24, but initially where it's at, I look for a bounce. Next is VMW. We got these support and resistance levels here. We have this nice trend it's been on, and just now starting to break trend. Let's take a look at the pre-market. So the pre-market's coming back down into the support area, and it's also $100, which is a very strong psychological level of support. So let's look for this to break below 100. I would take this short because of the other support that it has. I'd like to take this short, below this 99.30 area. So on the first break of 100, you could grab a little bit of it. See if you can trend down in some lower lows and higher and lower highs. So it should come down into here. Look for it to continue that downtrend. This is going to be a good one to watch with the market. So if we get some selling in the market, things are looking pretty weak, this is one you could be pretty patient with. Let it just kind of trickle down for the day. Next stock is ARMH. Got this level of support and resistance. Been in this range for almost 2 months. Came into the support level here, but it's been pretty much in this range. Let's take a look at the pre-market. So looking pretty weak, looking like it's going to open down below 28. I would look to short this below 27.80. So there's your mark right there. Look for it to break below that, and we're looking for this to be just a day trade down into 26.50. You might take a little bit of profit, around 27, and then see if you can come down into this 26.50 area. At 26.50 it could be interesting. You might want to hold a small piece to see if it can break below 26.50, especially if the market stays pretty weak. Then you could be coming down in this 25 area. BMRN, it's been on a pretty strong run here, and it just yesterday was at a 52-week high. So take a look at the pre-market on this. So we got a gap up on the open. We're looking to open probably around $30. Not a huge gap. I like normally my exhaustive gaps to have a little bit more money in them, but this one still has potential. So especially if we get a weak opening or we start selling off today in the market, look to short this back into this gap and coming down into this 29.50, 29.20 range. So you got a good 2.5%. You can start small on it. Again, try to see if it can set some lower lows and some lower highs and trend down and fill this gap. Once it gets into this area, if it fails here, then it could look pretty weak. You could be coming down into 28.80s or 28.50s. So this might be something also that you consider hanging on to for 2 or 3 days. So if you can get shares, look to cover part of it today. If you have a nice move, you make some good money. Keep a small piece of it as a swing and try to hold it for a second or third day. Next we have Cena. We had Cena bounce off the support area around 80. Had this nice run here for about 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks. Came up into this area around 116.50, 117. Had the pullback, and then yesterday we had a really strong bounce. And it didn't really come back much with the market yesterday. If you take a look here, we had this run up here with the announcement, but it kind of beat the announcement on the move up, so it was already bullish. We had the Fed announcement, which pushed up the markets. This came up and then kind of held and consolidated. Now we're looking to have a higher open, and then here's that resistance line right there. So we're looking to take this long over 116. I would say probably around 116.50 to be safe, right in this area. You can start a little bit early if it looks strong. Once it breaks through 117, go ahead and start to add to your position. Again, this could be a swing trade for, maybe 2 to 3 days to the long side. You got resistance around 128, so you're going to take this long. You're going to come into 120. If it only pulls back a little bit at 120 and then consolidates, look for a higher high break over 120 and then could come into 128. So this is another one that could be a 2 or 3 day swing trade. So look to keep a small position of this open for possibly a day or two on the long side. Next we have Yum Brands. You see here we got this resistance level right around 57. We have this pullback previously. You know, it's been on this uptrend. Had this high, pulled back, had a higher low, tested again, pulled back, and now we're looking to test again. So this is going to be a breakout long. Take a look here. So pre-market, you know, aftermarket yesterday had a big buy up, pulled back a little bit, but it's held right at this 57. So watch this at the open. I'd like to take this long over 57.50, but wait for it to pull back a little bit, and it could fail this resistance level today. So this might not be the day that's a breakout, but look for strong volume and look for it to accelerate up through 57.50. If you get that, then I would go ahead and take this long, you know, and there's no resistance levels above it, so you know, you look to at the whole dollar amounts for, you know, target areas. You know, 58, you know, 58.50, 59, and 60 are going to be your areas where you're going to want to take some profit. You know, you're going to be looking at possibly a 2 to 3 day swing trade, but again, keep an eye on this today because it's right at the resistance level, and if it doesn't really have some strong follow through, it might fail back down into 56 or 55 area, pull back. And keep an eye on the market too. If we do get that selling, it might hold this up a little bit. Okay, those are the picks for today. Good luck to you guys, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.